Many of us suffer from the problem of no change, especially here in our university food court. For example, when you go and buy something and you pay, most of the time you're told that there is no change. So if you count the amount of money left there, you find it huge. So we thought about why not to make a database system automated using an RFID. For example, you pass your ID, you have a balance prepaid in this ID, so you can easily buy this item. And you can also add balance to this card.
So I will be talking about the connections made in our projects. So we use an Arduino Mega to perform the connections. So the components are an RFID reader that is 13.56 megahertz. And it comes with its tag that is compatible with it. We used a 16:2 LCD screen to show the output from in each state. Also, we used a keypad, a 4x4 keypad that has 10 digits and 4 characters and 2 symbols. So the symbols we used it to go from one product to another, and the characters we used it to choose an item, and the digits to choose the quantity. We used a variable resistor to control the brightness of the screen so that it is not so bright or not so dark.
Okay, so the following is the finite state machine that powers this device. We initially start at state 0, which initializes the display writing that the user should pass his ID. Then it automatically goes to the state begin, and it stays on state begin until it receives a valid ID. Once the ID is inserted, you get into the state which is called the valid ID state, and you get a display of 2 options, whether A or B. If you press A, you're going to order something, and if you press B, you're going to add balance. Let's go to the case if you press A. If you press A, you go automatically to the state order, and you will get an item displayed on screen. If you want to get another item, you will press either hash or star to navigate left or right to display the full menu. And once you think you're settled with an item and you want to choose it, you would press C, and then it would ask you to enter a quantity for this item. If you enter a quantity which is like, let's say 3, it will take you back to the state which is order, and you get the option either to choose another item, then it will ask you again for the quantity of this item, or if you press D, it would go back to the state 0, and it would update the balance and confirming that transaction was complete if you had sufficient funds. If you do not have sufficient funds, you would go back to the state order and ask you to order something else or just end the transaction. If you choose to add balance, you would go to the state deposit, and you would keep entering numbers from 0 to 9, and it would keep concatenating the inputs. So let's say you pressed 9 and then 0, then the total would be 90. And once you're done, you would press D to update your balance and enter and update your balance in the database. And then you would go back again to the state 0 so you can order.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Mehany. I'm a 28-CS student, and my part in the project was to establish a communication channel between the Arduino board and the database server. We needed a database to store the customers' balances and to update those balances whenever a transaction was made. Now, instead of using Ethernet or Wi-Fi to establish that connection, I used the existing USB connection to handle any information between the Arduino and the database. So I wrote a Python script that listens on the USB port and receives any serial input on that port, which is usually database queries from the Arduino board, and executes those queries and send the outputs on the same port to the Arduino board, which is usually the account balance or the result of any transaction, whether it succeeds or fails.
So now let's demonstrate the system. First, if we look at the table here, we will find that our balance is currently 0. So now let's try to buy something and see what will happen. First, I will insert the ID. Here it asks me either to press A for order or B for balance. I will press A to order. Here I can navigate through the items. I will choose the third item, for example, and then the quantity, for example 1. it will tell me that I have no enough funds. So I will just press that I'm done, and then my balance, that's because my balance was 0. I will now try to add balance to my account. I will insert the ID again, and then here I press add balance. I will choose, for example, 20, and then done. Now my balance become 20. So now I will buy another. If we look here at the database, we will find that the balance has been updated to 20. Now I can buy something. I will insert my card, and then I will buy, for example, item 2, and I will choose quantity of 1, and then I'm done. The total was 8, and my balance is now 12. And if I look here, I will find my balance updated to 12.